All right, this video is going to cover 8.2a, which is solving polynomials when they're in standard form. So what that means is they're giving you a polynomial that's not factored at all. So factoring it should be your main priority. And then once you have it factored, you just set each factor equal to 0. So let me show you what I mean. I'm not going to show you how to factor these. Go watch the factoring video if you need to know how to factor these. So here we go. Okay. This right here is what you would get if you factored it once, but it's not fully factored. This right here is still a difference of squares. So you have to keep going. All right, so this is fully factored. A good way to tell is check your degree of your fully factored versus the degree of the standard form. They should match, degree 3. All right, so basically what you do is you take each factor and you just set it equal to 0 and go solve it. So like minus 2, x equals negative 2. This one, x minus 2 equals 0, add 2, x equals 2. And then this one, x minus 3 equals 0, just add 3, x equals 3. Nothing to it. So as long as you know how to factor, you should be okay at this. If you don't know how to factor, you're done. So let's look at another, this one. All right, so I factored it once and this is what I got. Now this right here is still a difference of cubes, so I'm going to have to factor that further. It would look like this. This is fully factored. Whenever you do a sum or a difference of cubes, the trinomial part will not factor further. So you're stuck with that. And the fact that it won't factor further means you're going to have to run the quadratic equation on it. So these aren't the most fun to do. But basically, this guy would give you x equals 2. That one's easy. This guy would give you x equals negative 2. That one's easy. It's this part that's going to mess you up. You have to run it through this equation. So find your A, your B, and your C, and punch it in. So it'd look like this. Okay, now you just gotta go simplify that. So I'd start with the root. You're gonna get the square root of 4 minus 16. Well, let me take it off to the side here, this part. This is root of negative 12. 4 minus 16 is negative 12. So the first thing you do is you take the I out and call it root positive 12. Then you can break root 12 down to be root 4 times root 3, which is 2 root 3. Just don't forget you had an I in front this whole time. So it becomes 2I root 3. I know that's kind of tricky, but you have to be able to handle it to do these problems. So right here would become 2I root 3. And then this is basically done. The only difference, or the only way you can go further is if all these numbers are divisible by the same number, you can reduce all 3 of them. So it would all divide by 2, and you would get negative 1 plus or minus I root 3. It'd be over 1, so it'd just be this right here. So x equals negative 1 plus or minus I root 3. And that's actually 2 answers because this plus minus sign counts for two of them. Okay, let's keep moving. Number 3, factor it fully. So this one is a GCF first. All these things are divisible by 3x. So go divide them all by 3x. You'd get 5x squared plus 9x minus 2. Okay, now this right here is a trinomial that can probably factor further. Let's see, 5x x plus 2 minus 1. Yes. So this red right here is fully factored form. And you're going to take each one of these and set them equal to 0. Even this 3x, everybody always forgets about that guy. Don't. Take him, set him equal to 0, divide by 3. 0 divided by 3 is 0. X equals 0 is one of your answers. This one, the 5x minus 1 equals 0. Add 1. Divide by 5. X equals 1/5. And then this one's easy. It's just x equals -2. So those would be my three answers. All right, moving right along. This next one, same thing. It's a GCF right from the start. They're all divisible by x. So you take an x out of each one. Then this trinomial breaks down further to be x plus 2, x plus 3. Now set each factor equal to 0. This guy right here would be x equals 0. Then you got x equals -2 and x equals -3. And this last one, they're really trying to trick you here. This is a difference of squares. So what that means is the first thing you're going to do is break it to this, x squared plus 4, x squared minus 4. You're just used to seeing a square here. That's the only difference. So if it's a 4, you just, instead of it being x and x, it becomes x squared and x squared there. That's the only difference. All right, now from here, it factors even further. This x squared plus 4 doesn't, because it's not a difference of squares. But this x squared minus 4 is a difference of squares. So it'd be x plus 2, x minus 2. So this right here would be fully factored form. I forgot the equal zeros over here, but that's okay. So like this one's going to give you x equals -2, and this one's going to give you x equals +2. Those are easy. This one, though, you're going to have to set it equal to 0 and solve it. So subtract 4. Then you're going to root it. When you root it, you must use plus minus. All right, so you get plus minus the root of -4. I would take the I out first and call it root +4. And of course, the root of 4 is 2, so this one becomes plus minus 2i. I hope that made sense. Okay. Last problem. They're going to give you a volume of a prism, and they're going to give you the height, and they want to know the dimensions of the base. So the equation's volume equals length times width times height. So if you know volume and you know the height, you can divide this and get what the length times the width is. So let me show you what I mean. I would take this x cubed minus 2x squared minus 29x minus 42, and I would divide it by the x plus 2. Now this is an easy one, so I would do synthetic division here. You can totally do long division though, that doesn't matter. All right, so I divided, I got x squared minus 4x minus 21. So this is what the length times the width is. Now you need to factor this further though. So it's a trinomial that'll factor to be x minus 7, x plus 3. This right here is your length and your width. It doesn't, I don't know if it really matters which one's which. We'll call this length, we'll call this width, but it doesn't matter. Those are the dimensions of the base. Because if you multiplied green times green times green, length times width times height, you would get this volume. I hope that made sense. So just do division and then factor it, and then you have the dimensions of the base. Nothing to it. The hard parts are, in my opinion, the quadratic formula ones. So hope this video helped.